Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here at ILTM Con once again. This is the largest ILTM they've ever had, 10,000 people, and it's been great. It's also been exhausting. I'm here with my very good friend, Misty Bellis, who is the Vice President Global Communications for Virtuoso. And Virtuoso always puts out great surveys and studies about what's going on today in travel. In fact, they gave a presentation earlier with Matthew Upchurch, your boss, gave some wonderful stuff. But Misty knows all the numbers, and we're going to talk with her about that and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Misty, great to see you.
Thank you so much, James. It's fun to be on this side of the camera with you. So
I know,
thanks for
usually
having
you're on
me.
the other side. We talk about this. We did one interview way back when, a long time ago. We talked about doing this during Virtuoso, but we never got to it.
Well, we ran out of time.
We ran out of time. But here, I thought take this chance, because you guys just did a sort of end of the year survey looking ahead about where we are in terms of travel. And I think you've seen, we were seeing for next year, we're already seeing a pretty big, significant increase in demand, right?
We are. So we released the Virtuoso Lux Report just a couple of weeks ago, and it is a global survey. More than 2,200 of our advisors participate in it,
right.
And it really does give us this great look about at what to expect in 2025. So to your point, more than half of advisors are expecting at least a slight increase in both sales and in demand. So we're prepared for a really healthy 2025.
Which is, after the last couple of years, we've just been incredible results, and everyone's doing great. So there might have been a little fall up, but you're really not seeing much.
Not really, no. We're not seeing a pullback or a slowdown.
And we got through the election and everything.
We did. But no, people they still want to travel. They're not willing to give up the experiences. They might be pulling back on luxury goods, but they're not pulling back on luxury experiences.
That's great. And also, they're also not spending less, apparently. It sounds like they're still on track to spend a fair amount. They're going to spend more, right?
Right now, we're expecting that they'll at least spend slightly more than this year, which was already a very healthy amount.
That's great. And then you also, obviously, you're turning to destinations, and you have your top destination. Well, first of all, there's some destinations on the rise, and I was very happy to see a few of them. Tell us a little bit about those.
So the destinations on the rise are where we're seeing the most year-over-year growth, and where we're really seeing interest and excitement from clients. And so Portugal is actually the #1 destination on the rise for us, which is a destination I love. The other interesting ones, though, were Antarctica, Norway, Iceland. These are all those cold weather destinations that we continue to see do really well. Those coolcations are still going to be popular in 2025.
Well, I was in Norway this year. I was looking at, all right, been there. Actually, the only one I haven't been to, and this was an interesting one, is Morocco.
Really? Well, now we have to put that on your list.
It is on my bucket, because it's only there's 1, 2, 3. It's there, but I haven't been to everyone at Costa Rica, Norway, Iceland, Antarctica, Portugal. All those I've been to.
You heard it here first. We found the one destination James Shillinglaw has not been to yet. It's Morocco.
Amazing. So that's on my bucket list right now. And then you've also you did top leisure destinations. Well, surprise, surprise. What's #1?
Italy. Italy is always number one.
It's so tiring. What is going on? Well, the answer is we can go to Italy all the time, right?
Well, the answer is Italy is magnificent, and everyone loves it for a very good reason. I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and it just reaffirms why people love the destination. And really, it's the #1 across all of the markets, with the exception of the UK, where Greece was their #1.
Yeah, well, that's right. Because you do it by different markets, because you also cater to you've become very international now. You have, I think, what Matthew said the other day, that 49% of Virtuoso members are working in other countries, right?
Yeah, nearly half of our advisors are located outside of the U.S.
But I was looking at other top leisure. Well, obviously, Greece is pretty important. We're here in France, obviously. Japan, which has been booming ever since it reopened after COVID, right?
Japan was our #1 destination to watch last year, and now it's made it into the top leisure destinations for 2025.
And then there's also a place that you were very close to recently, because you had one of your meetings in Slovenia, I believe. But the place that is on this list is Croatia, and that's a place I love. I've been there several times myself, including this year.
Yeah, Croatia continues to be popular. It's a destination on the rise, and actually it's a nice alternative for people who have been to Italy quite a few times, but still want something that's kind of has a similar feel to it.
And then you had England on the rise here. I go to England all the time. So
It is. And we send a lot of business to London, of course. London is one of our top cities, but it's opening it up to beyond just London and seeing the rest of England kind of come into its own as well.
And then you have top cities, of course.
Yep.
Surprise, surprise, Paris is the top city, right?
Paris is the number one city. Everyone loves the city of
But
lights.
the number two is Barcelona, which
Yeah.
is interesting as well. And then you go to Rome, which is also beautiful, and of course London.
Right. Yeah. Those are. It's really the biggies, as you would expect. But Paris was just about the number one across all markets as well.
That's great. But
Yeah.
then you go up by family travel. You have Italy again, a top for family. Hawaii, not surprising.
Right.
These kind of things. So these are.
But Japan was really interesting for family.
And family, yeah, that
Right,
was crazy.
yeah.
I'm looking down your list here. I'm cheating a little bit. And there's a quiz. She has to know all the stats, and that's why we're doing this. And then obviously top destinations for honeymoon, Italy, things like that, Greece. They're great.
You're just going to Italy for everything. That's really what it comes down to.
Right. Then there are others. Forget about the other destinations. I think that. Now, one of the
The other destinations.
That's
so
right. So then the other top thing is you surveyed solo travel, which I thought was very interesting because first on the choices for solo travel. So you had what's surprising, guided tours.
Well, I think it makes sense. First of all, this is the first time we've asked about solo travel, and we asked about it because we are seeing it come into its own. We're seeing such a rise in demand for it. So we did ask what were some of the best options for solo travel. Guided tours is a great way to go about it because there's almost some guardrails around it. You could be as social as you want or not, and so you have somebody else doing the planning for you. So guided tours, and then cruising was also
like the next three are cruising. It's expedition cruising, ocean and river, which is just but then
also England.
Because England, when I think of solo travel, I think of England,
You
right?
think of England, but it is an easy destination, especially for Americans or other English-speaking countries, to be able to go and navigate and explore.
It's just amazing, and I love that. And if you're looking for somebody, English guys or English girls are pretty good.
Well, yes.
And English, I mean, no matter what, it really is a wonderful. I mean, I'm originally from my family background is Scottish, so I always enjoy going back there, and I know you do too. You're always there, it seems like.
I'm not always there, but I'm there quite often. I really do enjoy traveling there. And if you're a Richard Curtis romantic comedy kind of fan, it's the perfect destination.
So then the other thing is you look most popular cruise itineraries, and this was another one where I'm looking at my notes here. Let me give me a second here. Not surprising, Mediterranean, but then Alaska,
because that some of that expedition cruising, but also that getting back to nature and those cool destinations. So
yeah, we are, and then we finally get to Caribbean Danube, which we've all been experiencing recently, and Antarctica. When are people traveling? Because we're talking about this. What happens traveling during shoulder season, off-peak times is up to 78% now?
It is, especially I think in the luxury sector where people aren't necessarily tied to school calendars. They have a little bit more flexibility to be able to travel during that off season, during the shoulder season, and they're choosing to do that. It's the weather is not always optimal in July, so you can go and enjoy Europe in September, October when it's cooler, when there are fewer crowds, and so we're really seeing people gravitating towards.
But also because of the sustainable factors, it seems like if you can go to different times of the year, you can book your clients at different times of the year, you can book them to destinations that may be a little offbeat, not the usual ones, and we get rid of those because we're back to having crowds at these destinations that have crowds, like Venice and things like that, right?
Right, absolutely. This is a way to escape the crowds, escape the heat, and really actually enjoy the destination the way it's intended to be enjoyed.
Right, and you get that. Now, one of the things is, why are they traveling now? What are the big reasons to travel?
Well, celebration travel continues to be very, very popular. There's some pent-up demand that we're still working towards, but more than anything, people are just happy to travel again, and they're looking for those reasons, whether it's milestone birthday, milestone anniversary, whatever it is they're celebrating. But we're also seeing just the excitement of visiting new destinations,
Right.
and there's always this sort of tension between exploring new places, going back to fan favorites. So we're seeing
There's a lot of good reasons here. I mean, you were talking about, rest and relaxation is well down on the list, but then the biggest trends of 2025, which one of them was one we saw back post 9/11 actually, which was family travel, right?
Well, family travel is always a popular one for us, as is multi-generational travel. So those are both on there for top trends that we're seeing for next year. But what's really interesting about multi-gen travel is that next year marks the first time we have 7 generations of active travelers, because Gen
is
Zs
amazing,
will
yeah.
start having babies.
Well, I'm getting to that age now where I've got 3 generations that are going to be traveling, and it could have been more, but we'll
Right.
see what happens. But yeah, that's great. Now, we did want to talk to you about travel agent usage, because you have some interesting stats certainly of how many of your Virtuoso agents are being turned to.
Yeah,
Advisors, I should say.
So Virtuoso advisors are also in high demand, we're happy to say. And this year alone, we have seen a 76% increase in the number of people seeking out a Virtuoso advisor through virtuoso.com. So we know that people are valuing them and seeking out their knowledge, their expertise, and the services that they provide.
And in fact, you're seeing more surge of people interested in becoming travel advisors, I believe, as well.
We are. That continues to grow as well, and people from different careers, people who are new to the profession, but yeah, there is so much opportunity there and so much demand that people are seeing it as not just a viable career path, but a really exciting one that they want to be part of.
Absolutely great. It's the first time in my life there's been people, trying to become travel advisors. Even the Department of Labor sees this as a growing profession finally, which was not always the case when I first got in the business.
Well, Department of Labor, the way they calculate the statistics there too, the BLS doesn't necessarily count all the independent contractors,
Right.
and since that is the way the industry has gone,
Yeah.
they don't really take that into account, but that's where a lot of that growth is coming from.
Now, anything else that you want to highlight in this survey?
Oh gosh, let me think. There's so many good tidbits in this survey.
Yeah, it is an extensive survey. So.
I think the other thing that's really interesting is just the way sustainability is factoring in. We've talked about it in terms of when people are traveling, shoulder and off season, but it's really, you're seeing more and more personal preference and personal values coming through in the way people travel.
Well, because you do a lot of work in sustainability. You actually did a huge report about if people are turning to sustainability and they were making that a consideration, and the answer is they are.
They are, and that's been our goal all along, to make sustainability a greater factor in consumer choice, and now we're really seeing it get there. Yeah.
Misty, always great to see you. Glad we got to do this interview at ILTM. Of course, we usually are in Vegas together, but we never get a chance to do things there. But here, we got nothing else to do here. This is not true. You're busy. I'm busy. It's been a crazy, busy show, but a great one. I want to thank you for taking the time, and I'm going to see you probably pretty soon.
Probably so, yes. We tend to find each other all over the world.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much for having me on. It's great to do this with you, my friend.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.